I welcome respected subscribers and guests of the channel among people who have not been to prison, however. Often among those who have been there, there is an opinion that behind the barbed wire prisoners illegally die and disappear. This happens allegedly by the evil will of some influential Tula high-ranking people, either criminals or mafia or ghosts and DVD. Another message in the media about the death in prison of some prominent person involved in a high-profile criminal case indirectly confirms the validity of this opinion. That everything is clear, they killed so that they would be silent forever. Experience shows that the real picture is very different from the virtual one. Firstly, no one professionally knows the statistics of deaths in prison, investigated and did not compare it with mortality statistics in freedom. Therefore, it is competent to assert that death in prison is higher and there are more mysterious deaths there than in freedom. Secondly, it is not entirely clear or not at all clear who exactly carries out the secret negotiations. Who are the jailers, criminals, outsiders? One sane person would not handle such an assignment as a jailer, as people are not always capable of dividing food equally between three pigs. They can secretly liquidate a specific prisoner, and they also need to add a noticeable prisoner. They will either kill the wrong one or they won't kill that one. Or what will most likely happen is not they will kill the wrong criminal. Of course, the criminal has the opportunity to kill his cellmate but will not be able to do this. The mystery will have to answer, and where is the guarantee that in a month, in a year, or when the executioner gets the tower, he will not talk about it and he will have to be eliminated. But such a chain is endless. And the high people often do not want to sit for life and don't value their lives. They remember everything they can remember, and only the underworld can use this method. The authorities won't resort to the services of a prisoner, it's dangerous. The essence of this visit is the way to properly dedicate the legend of Ravenna to the secrets again. It's not possible to send the victim a package with poisoned food, so the whole cell will be poisoned. The prisoners are sharing food, and even some of those who receive the packages will die and are used to nibbling from them. There will be a lot of noise. The only way such a murder, the realism of which one can agree with, recognizing its extremely low probability. The enormous complexity of this killing is carried out by a doctor or, which is more convenient, by a nurse by repeated injection of slow-acting poison. One cannot allow a person to die immediately after the injection. He must be ill and be treated, and in the end, he will not be cured. In order for this plan to be realized, it is necessary for many factors to find a suitable doctor, to recruit him, to convince him that he will not leave after the patient, to get poison, to convince the patient of the need for treatment, to achieve the patient's trust in the doctor, and most importantly, to ensure the procedure treatment of the prison mess. The sister who today collared prisoners in one building tomorrow can find yourself at the other end of the prison and the day after tomorrow on some sabotnik or in a collective farm field, to collect zucchini. What kind of treatment process is the opinion of triple murderers supported? And that's why sometimes it's not often that Zaki die in prison. The administration always makes a lot of efforts, even to the point of paying their own money pockets in order to hide the fact of murder. Forensic experts and prosecutors agree to show a violent and natural death, but this is done solely to save themselves from harsh disciplinary showdowns and the event of the death of a tongue as a result of a crime. A so-called mass grave is dug, which is abandoned by a lot of employees from the controller to the boss. Even if this is not a dismissal but simply a penalty, they significantly affect one's career and future well-being. To avoid this, the jailers show miracles of ingenuity, diplomacy, and, more recently, solvency. Violent deaths are usually the work of the tongues. Of course, there have been cases when some jailers overdid it, but they are so rare that are not the rule but an exception to the rule. Basically, the jailers are cowardly and manage their actions well enough so as not to accidentally kill a prisoner. The latter situation could soon be violated being part of the Ministry of Internal Affairs. Prison employees were examined annually by a psychologist and a psychiatrist, which to some extent ensured recognition of mental disorders in the early stages in the department. But this is neglected. It seems that funds for clinical examination have gone to the left and in vain. It is very dangerous. The negative stress on the psyche of prison guards is very high. Not everyone can resist them. Murder in the cells happens as a result of 2 trials under the roof of someone from the administration. As a rule, a mapper with a narrow-minded mind is at most 10% of violent deaths or physical lawlessness. 90% or more of instructions to kill someone will never be given by operas. Prisoners' idiots are not kept there. He can simply ask his assistants to work with a specific prisoner so that he becomes more talkative. Assistants begin to be zealous, and it happens that they go too far. The main reason for the murder of grievous bodily harm that resulted in death, lawlessness among criminals as a result of chamber terror at the hands of the stewards, of those watching and others. As a rule, the unfortunate tongue and those unable to stand up for themselves. Sometimes they are beaten simply, sometimes in a sophisticated way. The fantasies of sadists and scumbags are limitless. But this only happens in those cells where there is no strong hand. It will dawn on the riffraff who pout in front of each other, who is cooler. If the camera is supervised by smart people, tough for the lawlessness, everyone will know there will be a reckoning. And the reckoning and cruelty can far exceed the guilt. The trouble is that not all pens are smart and tough ones. If there is an authoritative language sitting in the cell, and these are always not stupid, tough people, then there will never be lawlessness. The conditions can be tough, they can be very tough. But this is the condition that sets the limit and which no one dares to violate. But that's the problem with authoritative, smart, and tough languages. Not much, but the deaths described are very rare from tuberculosis, hepatitis, AIDS, dystrophy. In prison 2 to 3 orders of magnitude more people die. This is really scary. Channel All in Prison. Like, subscribe to the channel. Eyes to you.